answer yes or no. Cecil Millman, will you go? Please don't say no.
Savarese. I'm over here at Savarese Fight Fit at 4215 Bel Air Boulevard. And guys, I got to tell you, today's going to be a labor of love for me. One of my good friends, and I'm a big fan of his, and we kind of grew up together in boxing. And Raul Marquez and his son Giovanni is here. He's 1-0 as a pro. And it's going to be so exciting following this guy's career. And him and his dad and me, we've been friends since, it seems like forever. I met him originally at HBA Gym in 1986, and so I was a young guy. I was probably 5 years old, well, maybe not, but I was young back then, and he went on to be middleweight champion, and it's just got to be really tough. It would be very tough for me to see my son fight, but I know he's doing the right thing, and he's in the guy's corner, and he's a very intelligent guy. He's got a great relationship with Showtime, too, and as you see, Giovanni's first fight was on Showtime, which is very rare, so good luck to those guys. All right, guys, this is going to be a labor of love today, and me and your dad have a long history, man. I remember being in the gym at HBA, and I had to be 19, man. Wow, you're old.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. I'm going to say 87, maybe 87, and downtown gym. And I used to watch you and your dad. And that was really heartfelt to me, because my dad, he would drive and take me to the gym, train me, do everything, and I just thought that's what you do. And then I realized that while I was sleeping in the car, he was driving. He'd drive an hour in the morning to work, then drive me back to the gym another hour. I'd sleep the whole time in the car, but he would just do that, and I used to really respect your dad for doing that and everything, being there too. And now, hence, a couple of years later, and look, you're training this guy. So nice to have you guys on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's an honor, man, and I'm happy to be here with you. And it's like we don't keep in touch, but every time we see each other, there's so much love between us. It's like we never lost touch.
You're saying it before.
We love it, man. We love it.
And it's I've been wanting to talk to you about this. This is one of the things I really wanted to ask you, because I have a son. I have two sons, and my one son's actually a really good boxer, and I don't want him to be a good boxer. And he's at A&M. He's a lot smarter than me, which isn't saying much, but he's got like a 3.9 GPA, really, and he's in his last year of going for neuroscience, and he's studying for his MCATs. But anyway, in freshman year, he was going to come home and for a vacation. He said, "Oh, I can't make it." I said, "Why?" He said, "Oh, I didn't tell you, Dad." I said, "Tell me what." He goes, "Oh, I won this boxing tournament up here, and now we got to fight in the finals in Syracuse." I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Right. So I went up there, but it was really tough. I mean, it was really hard to watch him do it, And I think, and my dad didn't want me to fight. He didn't. And he just didn't want me to fight. He wanted something for me different. He wanted me to go to school or whatever, which wasn't my thing. And then when he realized that school was not my thing, then I was getting a lot of street fights and stuff. He just figured, he said, what else? I might as well let him do it. So he did, and he supported me 100%. But that's why I was really levitating to you, to seeing that your dad was there and everything. So here we go. We're moving it forward.
Yeah, actually, all three of my boys, Raul Jr., Arturo, that you promoted here locally too, and Giovanni, they got into boxing because my father, kind of like my father got me into boxing, and I didn't really want none of them to box, so, but they wanted to box, so you had to give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
And Raul, he was a pretty good amateur, but he decided that he loves the ladies more than the boxers.
That happens.
There's nothing wrong with that, And then Arturo was
doesn't
doing
pay
really
as well, though.
Right, and then Arturo was doing really well as a fighter, but somebody poked his eye and gave him problems, so we took him off of boxing. And then Giovanni recently, he was, my dad started him up in boxing, and he recently, came to me. I took over the training, and I did the same thing that my dad used to do with me, travel to different cities, whatever we had to do to get good work, good sparring, and make sure that he's in great shape. And that's exactly what I did with him. Like, I was in Miami covering the Olympics for Telemundo in Tokyo. So we went over there, and, I got him good. Anywhere in the United States, I'm well connected with boxing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I got him great sparring. I would be working like crazy hours, 1 o'clock in the morning, because the Tokyo time, 1 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. And then we would go work out at 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, different boxing gyms, and we got ourselves like really ready for the national Golden Gloves because he won the state Golden Gloves here in Texas, and we went to Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And luckily, he won the national Golden Gloves, and ever since then, I told him when you win it, and Lou, you know how that goes. When you win a tournament like that, your life in boxing is gonna change. And sure enough,
it's a whole different level.
It's changed.
Different pedigree.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean that's why I just and I know like I called around when I knew I was going to be. I called around and everybody said the same thing about him, how good he is, but also that he trains real hard. And that's huge. I mean, your dad will tell you. We've seen so many guys with talent like that. Just oh my God, unbelievable, like Ricky Stoner or guys like that. But they just didn't train. I mean, we were just talking about another guy today, and same thing with him. I mean, it's intriguing to me. I'm like,
yes.
I had to work. I worked construction in New York City, and I just knew I was like, dude. I mean, I can train 4 hours a day and maybe make millions of dollars, and instead of working construction where I had to work 10 hours a day, and so for me it was a no-brainer. But everybody speaks really highly of you. I called around and stuff. So that's great. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I feel like training is honestly one of the most important parts because you can be talented, skillful, but if you don't put the work in, then you can't expect results. And
100%. I mean, we've seen it all the time. I could go down the line, guys that had so much talent, and in every sport, but in boxing, it just seems to be more prevalent. They won't train. I tell people a funny story. You know Floyd Mayweather, of course. So his uncle was down here when we were here. Roger, who probably, I don't know if he agreed, but probably should have been one of the greatest. If he trained like Floyd did, forget this guy. I mean, he could just flat out fight. He had the longest arms I've ever seen. He was absolutely crazy. He was a funny guy, but he wouldn't train. I mean, he just would not train. There was a guy who turned out to be a good friend of mine. He was our strength and conditioning coach. He's a doctor now, Doug Ferrago. And he would go, and we were on the second story. We all lived in the building off of Kirby by Cafe Express. And he would climb out the second window. I was like, dude, is it easy just to run? He goes, man, I ain't no track star. I don't need to be running. I'm a fighter, man. He said, and he was hilarious. But he would just, and he could fight, but he wouldn't train. I couldn't imagine if he ever trained like Floyd did.
I tell Giovanni, preparation is everything. A guy across the ring, he could have all the skills in the world. Maybe he could be better than you, but if he runs out of gas, he ain't gonna be able to show them skills. And if you're the one that's in better shape, you're gonna take over. And that's exactly like for the National Golden Gloves. It's 3 rounds. But I told him, if you're tired, trust me, the other guy's going to be even more tired. I had to put that in his mind.
That's true.
By the beginning of the second round, Lou, I kid you not, he had those guys winded. And then he would just take over because of his conditioning. And he knows that, obviously, you can't cut any corners in boxing, especially in boxing. If you cut it corners, it will show in the ring.
And for me, it was 2 reasons. If I cut corners, I knew I did, and it was in the back of my head, And the other thing too is obviously you got to have the training of it. But I one fight my whole career as a pro I wasn't prepared for was Tyson, and the reason why was not because something I did. It was my Tyson. I got arrested, and we were supposed to be training, and I couldn't get. Everything was fine, but he got arrested because I was going to have my first son. So when he got arrested, they postponed the fight, and it wound up. I had my son like a week before, and so I was trying to be there for him. It was really hard, but it's huge. Being in shape is just, it's such a luxury to have to do it and stuff. And there's so many guys like your dad or other guys that there's not that variable. They're going to be in shape, and that's one variable you don't have to worry about. But there's other guys like you just think about guys we were talking about today. You got to know, well, are they going to be in shape? And I was always like flabbergasted or like perplexed. Like, this is the only thing you have to do. You can make millions. Why would you not be in shape? Tony Tubbs, when he fought Tyson, they gave him, I think it was an extra $50,000 to lose like something like 20-something pounds. He didn't do it. I'm like, how could you do that? It's just like, I don't know, it's just crazy.
Go ahead.
Right, yeah. I feel like if you have a dream, you want it. If you really want it, you have to just put the work in. And not only that, also stay disciplined in other areas such as your diet. Me, I know you, heavyweight. I have to make weight.
But he still kind of
Yeah,
had to
no,
watch what
I
he
did.
eats.
You know what I did? No, it's a great point you brought up because everybody said. But what I would do, I'd set my own goals because I didn't want to be like. I never had that variable. I was always in shape, but I would always set my goals and I'd have certain weights. I was really obsessed with the training part of it, the nutrition part of it, and I still keep in pretty good shape right now. So it's good. It's the best thing you can do. I mean, I actually I spar with my kids. I can go out and play with, do fun stuff with the kids, and I see some dads at little league games and stuff, and it's not good, man. They can't bend over and stuff like that.
Right.
So, but it's the best luxury you can do for yourself, especially in boxing. If you have that variable, like there's so many fighters, right? I mean, like Julio Cesar Chavez.
Right.
You just know these guys are going to be in shape. That wasn't a variable. But then there's other guys like
his son.
Yeah, like his son, exactly. Yeah, and then
Well, I mean, it happens. Sometimes this kid gets spoiled, and that's what I try to tell him. You don't want people to be saying, "Oh, Raul Marquez's kid's just spoiled. He's not gonna train all the way."
Camacho's kid
Camacho's
way,
Junior, same thing.
Yeah.
I tell him, look, again, the preparation is very important, and when you go, you do boxing, you love boxing, you want to be the best. When you go in there in the gym, when you go run, when you do sparring, we hit that. Be happy about it.
Yeah.
Don't be in a bad mood.
This
totally
is your
agree. Job.
That's a great point.
Be content, that because not that many people get this opportunity, especially in the place that he's in right now. With Showtime supporting us, he's on all the Showtime platforms, and they're really pushing for Giovanni. And if he really wants to go big, I mean, everything is there for him. He's got the skills. He's got my support. He's got the family support. He's got big Lou support. You can't go wrong with that.
Well,
Come on, man.
You said something interesting there, though. You said that
fans love him.
Yeah,
People love him.
but then you also said something interesting, too. You said about with Showtime. I mean, you're saying they have his support, but there's a reason they giving him support because Showtime's all about the money. I mean, that's what they do.
Right.
So they see something here because
they see talent.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do that if they didn't see
If
that.
they didn't see and
it's a good, it's a good,
son,
but it's a good story, a good backstory.
Skills,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of guys that are sons. I mean, Camacho's kid was one. I haven't seen Chavez's kid fight. Can he? Same way too.
He's got a couple of kids, and they haven't performed to their fullest. But they
same thing. And the
Camacho full nowadays.
Yeah. No.
And that's what I tell him that we don't want to have that. We don't want people to say that, and he knows what this game is about.
Yeah, it's all relative too. I always thought I was spoiled when I was a kid. Then I moved down here, and some of my clients over here, it's a really rough neighborhood. The WU, they call it West U. It's rough over here. Some women are down to one Range Rover. It's really rough over here. It's not easy, man. I'm serious.
Right.
You can't get a tea time until 12. It's tough over here. In
tough.
the WU, it's tough, man.
In the WU, yeah.
And then our other gym downtown is a little bit different with Bobby Bennett. You guys
Bobby.
down there, a little bit different.
We go to Main Street Gym sometimes.
It smells a little different down there too.
It is that, it does.
But it's good. It smells like a boxing gym.
Like a boxing gym, because that's what we used to. We work better off of that.
People would not believe some of the boxing gyms. There was one that was called Yonkers PAL in Yonkers, New York, and literally they had a garage door you had to go through, but the garage door didn't open, so they cut a hole in the garage door, so you'd walk through the garage door. It was so bad. There was no running water. It was terrible, man. It was terrible. But some great fighters came out of it. Milton Guest, Buddy McGirt. I mean,
Buddy
really,
McGirt,
really good fighters,
I know Buddy McGirt.
Went out
to become a good trainer too.
Yeah.
Besides a good fighter.
When I came down here, I couldn't believe how nice the gym was. Mrs. Abercrombie had the gym. And I was like, wow, this is like
nice,
unbelievable.
Clean gym.
All the gyms in New York.
Frank Tate, Thomas Tate.
Yep. Frank.
Remember when the guys from Canada came up?
The
brothers.
They were hilarious. They were great body punchers.
Yes.
Hilton.
The Hilton brothers.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, good
That's
job.
good when you have a senior moment and you remember it. That's
the
good.
Hilton brothers, all those guys.
They could fight. They were two brothers. They were wild too. They would go out and do some crazy stuff. They got in trouble one night down here. I don't know what happened, but they kind of borrowed somebody's car. It wasn't really their car, so they kind of stole it a little bit. But anyway, they were crazy, man. They could fight though. They had some body. They could body punch.
Yeah.
Hilton. They were from Canada.
Canada, David Hilton and Matthew Hilton.
The first time I came down there, and this is a prolific statement. One of the craziest things I saw in boxing. I just came down here. And I was at HB and I was like enamored, man. I'm just looking. I'm like, oh my God, it's so cool. Camacho was there. Floyd Mayweather. There was a heavyweight. Remember Tony Tucker?
Tony Tucker,
I think he went to distance with Tyson, but all these guys. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. And Mayweather, I've never seen this before. Mayweather and Roger Mayweather and Camacho was sparring, right? And they're sparring, sparring. They're going at it. And Mayweather goes, oh, like he got something in his eye. And Camacho stops. And bam, he steals him, man. And Camacho's down, and the camp is fighting. They didn't have cell phones. I called my friend back in New York, like, oh, man, you can't believe what this guy just. It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
Mayweather dropped him, stole him, and he wasn't looking.
A lot
It
of
was
good memories.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good memory, but
We all have
it was,
them. We all have
it was
them, yeah.
crazy, man. It's just.
I remember being in the Lou Duva camp. You know, of course, Lou Duva
Unbelievable,
back.
yeah.
I was a up and coming, top amateur
Yeah.
because I was on the national team. Being around Pernell Whitaker,
Oh, yeah.
Meldrick Taylor, Evander Holyfield. We used to have camp here in Houston.
No, I remember,
Virginia Beach. We used to go to Nino's. Remember Nino's Italian restaurant?
Yeah,
We used to go eat
yeah.
Italian there.
The one on, it's on.
On Vaughn? No, not
No,
on
no,
Vaughn.
Nino's is on Clay. Is it
On
Clay?
Clay, yeah, I think so,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
but,
he had two. He had Nino's and Damien's
Yes,
downtown.
I used to eat with Lou Duva, Pernell Whitaker, Meldrick Taylor, Evander
Duva was
Holyfield.
funny, man.
And that made me, being around all those guys made
Yeah.
me feel like, man, I want to be like those guys. I want to be a champion.
It was crazy. I mean, everybody would think, you always think of New York, Detroit, or Philly, but this was the best gym. I mean, not here, but I'm saying when I came down here, because Duva had all his guys here, for a heavyweight anyway. Duva had all his guys here. Foreman was just starting his comeback. There was a lot of heavyweights. That's a hard thing to come by in some gyms is to get heavyweights, but down here it was loaded up with heavyweights, man.
Right.
Crazy.
Right.
And then,
Dad mentioned being around all those guys.
Yeah.
What it did for him, inspired him.
Yeah.
I can relate because when I go to these fights with my dad, I'm around all the top guys, Gervonta Davis, all the big names in boxing.
Yeah.
For me, I can relate to that because it makes me feel the same way. Like, I want to be on the big stage one day.
it's
I
funny.
take him,
Yeah.
because working for Showtime as
Yeah,
a broadcaster,
it's
so I
crazy.
take him to all the big fights, taking pictures with Canelo, Mike Tyson.
Same thing with my dad. My dad was a cab driver. I got free cab rides around New York City.
Right.
But but it's so cool because like I never did this till I moved down here. I would actually stay after, like I'd work out real hard, but I'd stay in the gym to watch guys. It was so cool. I mean, we had some just like that with Mayweather and how many gyms you got? Floyd Mayweather. Roger Mayweather sparring with Camacho and stuff like that. It was just so cool to watch those guys. Mayweather, he was a prime example. Roger, the uncle, if he trained like Floyd did, that's the thing I don't like, because people don't realize, like they think Floyd is, but he trains like an animal. I mean, the kid, he'll be, I know.
5-minute rounds.
He'd stay in the gym.
Water and then get back right into it.
Yeah, he did
stuff. He has shown. Even Floyd has made so much money, but there's a reason why.
I agree.
Because even at his top, like when the guy doesn't need to box anymore.
Yeah.
He does exhibitions over there in Japan where they pay him a bunch.
He loves it.
He loves it.
Yeah.
But his like he says, his hard work, dedication.
Yeah.
No matter how much, even though he wakes up in silk pajamas and he's got all this money for fights, no matter what, he prepares well. And you got to give a guy. Come on, like we're fighters.
Yeah.
You start making money, you got fame, you got all this, fame, you got all this woman coming around you, and things might be like, that's why I tell Giovanni, I don't have to work that hard.
Yeah.
When you're on top, that's when you've got to work harder because
so true.
those guys want to be where you're at.
And it's
You know what I
almost it's to the greats, the guys. Like I look at the great fighters or great basketball players or great athletes aren't the guys that are prepared to be. They want to be there. Like a guy like Jordan, he wants to get the ball at the end of this thing.
Right.
Fighters, Mayweather. Floyd, you just look at. He wants to be out there and show what he can do and do that. And that's really important. And that also encompasses you got to be in the best shape. To do that, my old trainer used to say, fatigue make coward of a lot of champions. And
Right.
he'd say,
Fatigue
yeah,
makes- yeah.
because you get tired. There's
Right.
guys that can fight great, but they're not in shape. So that's a good thing. Everybody's. All people I talked about you, they all say you train hard. And that's huge. Especially, and it keeps you, keep you time tested. It's something you can do, give you a long career, and
It's true.
just great. It's really
Yes.
important.
Yes.
So, and we had said something before because I was thinking about this. Like, people always say, "Oh, what you don't want your kid to fight?" I think
Right.
it's because of CT or brain, but it's not.
Right.
It's more for me. It's just two things: is the business, and it's very hard mentally too because you're in there. all my friends were ball busters. I mean, I got a cousin Guido. He's just like the biggest. But
Right.
so I'm like I wanted to win because I didn't want these guys to make fun of me or whatever. I wanted to
Right.
win. That would be but I wanted to be in there and do the best I can do. But it's tough on you mentally though. You're going in there.
Well, look, I mean, I look at it this way. It's a tough sport, man. It's a brutal sport, but it's also a beautiful sport.
I
I
agree.
mean, it's done a lot for me. I mean, I've traveled the whole world, met so many different kinds of
Me too.
people,
Yeah.
made some money. You
Yeah,
know,
no,
but
same
I
thing,
make
yeah.
a good living because of boxing and
Yeah.
put me where I'm at. And if you do it right, you know, it could take you places. But just like any other sport, you know, baseball,
Yeah.
football, basketball, you know, you have injuries, you know, but baseball you get hit by, imagine getting hit by
Yeah.
baseball,
Yeah.
or you know, football you get tackled, you get concussions. Again, it goes back to being prepared. You gotta
Yeah.
prepare yourself.
Yeah, do the
Your
best you can.
diets, you know, you know how those people that want to cut 20 pounds in 1 week.
Yeah, no.
I could never understand that.
I,
That's what
I,
accidents
I said the
happen.
same. I said the same thing.
Yes.
I was with a guy. I went actually worked his corner. You know Mike Bruntulis,
Yes.
great guy. But we go out to. I worked his MMA, and I don't do MMA, but I worked his corner, and we go out there, and it was so. The fight was on a Friday. It was Wednesday. He was 18 pounds overweight. I'm like,
Oh, those MMA guys.
I
they
think,
cut
dude,
weight.
yeah, more than wrestlers, more than bodies. I
Yes.
think, and he was like, no, he's like, no, I'm right where I want to be. I was like,
Right.
why would you, even if that works, why would you want to do that? Why would
Yeah.
you want to put?
That's torture, man.
It's
That's
crazy,
like-
and
it's not
he
normal.
made it. He made
To
the
me,
fight.
it's not normal, Lou.
No, it can't be
18
good.
pounds
It can't be good
in
for you.
3 days
And he
or
was
something?
ripped. I mean, at 18
Yes.
pounds, he was probably 12%
I
body
don't know
fat.
how they do that,
No,
man.
it's nuts. And he was like, no problem. I'm like, wow. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, I don't understand that, especially the MMA guys.
Yeah.
There must be some type of like scientific method behind that.
No, it's not. It's not. To me, okay, if it works, it works, but it can't be the best way. I mean, it's just, to me, it's laziness, because why wouldn't I get my body in shape, get there? And there's also, they're finding out there's some detrimental problems too, because there's fluids around your brain that you need, and if you're dehydrated, so it's not good to do. And so I just think it's, they do it, but I don't think it's good. I don't think it's optimal anyway.
Right. Right.
So the MMA guys, they take it. I've been around wrestlers, boxers. Remember Frankie Lyles?
Yes, Frankie Lyles.
He used to cut weight real hard too. What was he, like 6'2", and he was 147.
I knew a bunch of those little guys too, man. Like remember Eric Griffin,
Yeah.
the smaller guys in boxing. I mean, they get up to like 130 and get down to 106. I mean, that.
Oh man.
I just
I'm
don't know how they
I'm
did
glad
it.
I was a heavyweight. I didn't have to cut weight.
Double
But-
plastic bags and stuff. Remember Abilene and all that stuff.
Yeah, that
trying
was
to
a big
lose
deal,
weight.
Abilene.
Laxatives, and they did whatever they could to make the weight. But in a 3-round fight, amateurs they could get away with it. But
Yeah.
once they turn pro and they're losing all that weight, it would show them, man.
Well,
It's gonna weaken you.
people don't realize I don't want to say an art, but it's very important, right? I mean, you know better than me, and you want to come in, if you can, you want to be heavier in your weight. You want to be at the top part of your weight, let's say.
Right.
If you don't have to, if you can cut down and not be drained and, make 47 as opposed to making 56 or 54,
Yeah.
it'd be better, right? Wouldn't it be better to be at that weight, to be at the top of your weight,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's kind of an art, too, these guys. But
Yeah. Again, with Giovanni, that's what I like about my son. Like for his last fight, he had no problems making weight.
Yeah,
very disciplined.
that's what everybody said
Yeah,
about him.
very
all across the
disciplined. He
board.
works hard. I mean, there's nothing. I'm still gonna be on his butt, because
Yeah.
I'm his dad and I want the best for
Yeah.
him. And you want him to get better and learn from experience.
Yeah, but
seeing
I
other
mean,
fighters.
where he's gotten so far, that shows dedication.
Yes.
I mean, you can't. You know
Yes.
how it is. You can't get that
He's
point.
focused. I think he's very focused, and I think if he remains like that and keeps listening, and keeps learning and improving and want to become that champion, I think we got to.
And his mom must be beautiful, because he's a good-looking kid.
That happens
he
to me.
didn't get that. He didn't get that from you.
That happens to me all the time, though. You know how it is. It happens to us boxers. We get the beautiful woman. We're the ugly ones, but we get the beautiful woman.
I tell them all the same thing. I say, I'm so poor I can't pay attention. I'm not emotionally available.
There you go.
But if you
There
want,
you go, man.
if you want to use me, that's all right. Give it. But anyway, so well, man, this is good stuff, man. We have to get into the business. So you just had your pro debut.
Right.
That's great. And then, so are we signed with a promoter or?
We're not signed with a promoter.
Awesome.
As of now, no, we're not.
Okay,
we're
good.
not. We're signed with David McWater. He's our manager.
Yeah. Oh, he's okay,
yeah,
cool.
Split Management.
Okay.
They're out of New York.
Who
And,
do they?
And our pro debut was on Showtime on Showbox.
Yeah, how you gonna beat that? I mean,
Yeah.
that's great. So is David aligned with Showtime too, or?
He's aligned with a lot of different
Okay,
promoters.
okay.
And he deals with. He's got a bunch of other fighters. One of the top fighters that he has is still from Lopez, who's undisputed lightweight champion.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He lost to who did he lose to?
Yeah,
Cambodia.
yeah. He can
Cambodia,
fight.
yeah.
Yeah,
So and he's got a bunch of other Olympians. I believe he's got a big stable, like 80-something fighters or something like that, right?
Really?
Yes.
And he's very well known in the boxing world. And
So I'm a little bit out of the loop right
we're,
now.
We're with a good team.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, so if you don't, I mean, if you can, with your connections and
Yes.
your boxing pedigree, if you can just be with Showtime, that's great.
Well, actually, that's the plan.
That's great.
That's what's
Yeah,
going on
knock,
right
knock
now.
on wood. Hopefully it'll work.
I appreciate what the Showtime family,
Yeah,
Steven Espinoza and the rest of the family have done for us. But again, like they say, if they didn't see no
Exactly.
potential or skills
Yeah.
in Giovanni, then he wouldn't have fought on Showtime. But on top of that, it's a good story. It's a good story.
Yeah, and not
for my
only
son.
people don't,
Yeah.
people don't notice, but I mean, I saw the guy they fought. I mean, the guy is 2-0.
Yeah, the guy is 2-0,
Most guys, I didn't fight guys like that till
Right.
like Bob was taking me into the swamps of Louisiana.
Right.
My manager Bob Spagnoli was taking me in the. I mean, I had a fight one time. We fought in a place called Cowboys Bar and Grill in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I look
Right.
over, and my opponent's looking at me, doing push-ups before I go, keep going, man. Come on, give me the 50 more. And he's just doing push-ups like, man.
Those
this
kind
is-
of opponents.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when you fight on Showtime, you're not going to fight somebody that's going to come lay down. The guy was 2-0, very mature guy. He prepared
That's
himself.
unheard of. Just
And he was trying to win. The guy was trying to
yeah.
win, but Giovanni, there's levels to this game, like how they say. And by the end of the first round, Giovanni put him in his place, and he knew that. And he tried. The guy still tried, but Giovanni's skills was just too much.
Yeah, and the people that know the business of it, what Raul was saying is that normally you don't fight a guy like that. Until you're, probably 7 fights, 8 fights.
would
Because,
think so.
but if you fight on Showtime, and you're going to be televised. They want something. They're going to put that guy there, and you got to be able to do it. That's a huge feather in your cap, man. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That was a very special night for
Yeah.
not myself, but Team Marquez as a whole, because it was a hectic week. We had cameras following us all week. At the weigh-ins, things got a little heated.
Yeah.
But fight night came. We were in the locker room getting pumped up. I went out there, took care of business with my dad and my brothers in my corner.
So cool.
But it wasn't over after that. After that, my dad suited up and he went and called the broadcast. So that was pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Man. That's awesome.
And Lou, the New York Times wrote about him, a big piece on the New York Times. When the New York Times writes about
That's
you, man,
huge.
that's pretty huge. Yeah, he
That's
knows.
really cool. Wow.
He knows, yeah.
Good job, buddy. You need a bodyguard or anything? I could be a driver, whatever. I could be a driver. Any women that want to get to you, they got to come to me first. Just stuff like that. I can do that stuff. That's cool, man. That's really good.
So, I mean, go ahead. Lou.
No, so will Showtime? Are they gonna exclusively be with Showtime? I mean, which one would be a bad thing?
That is the plan.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
we haven't closed the deal, but that's what we're looking at, and we're looking out to get some more wins under his belt, and then maybe come back on and fight again on Showtime, and just build him up, up until he gets tested again. You know how the boxing.
But yeah, people don't know. But I mean, me and Raul can tell you everything.
Yes.
I was gonna write a book called "Everything You Didn't Want to Know About Boxing and
Right.
More." I mean, there's some crazy
That's pretty.
stuff.
That would be a good book, man. I
think so,
would
too.
buy it.
We
I would
would-
read it. You should. Yeah.
We could have a lot of different
You might get in
promoters.
trouble. You might get in trouble.
I might
yeah.
get killed. I
Yes.
remember Don King. I had to go into because Mrs. Abercrombie. That's why I met. We had come down here. Mrs. Abercrombie, she had signed some of the top fighters and gave us a lot of money. And then all of a sudden, one day, poof, she was out of boxing, and I was like, "What am I going to do?"
Right.
And I went to. So I had to meet with Don King. It was like Get Smart. That's way before your time. But remember Get Smart?
Yes.
So I had to go through all these like trap doors. And I get in
Right.
there, and I hadn't been there maybe 5 minutes. I met King once or twice, and he's like, Savarese, a white boy that can fight. He said, "You hear that?" I said, "No, sir." He goes, "You don't hear that?" I said, "No. What is it?" He said, "That's money. You hear that? That's money." A white boy, we gotta get going. He said, "We gotta get going." I was like, "Oh, thank you, Mr. King."
Only in America.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Only in America.
So he did this a couple of times, and then we were there. I was there maybe 10 minutes, And this lady walks in. She goes, "How do you spell your last name?" And I tell her. And like 5 minutes later, he comes in with a contract. And I'm like, "Mr. King," I said, "I'm flattered, but this is all Chinese to me. I don't know." He said, "No, we just got to sign. You hear that? You hear that? A white boy that can fight. We're going to make some money. We're going to make some money." And I kept saying, "Mr. King, I'm flattered, but can I just take it home and let my brother or my attorney look at it?" No, we got to go. We got to go. Yeah. So anyway, I took it home, and Wally Matthews actually, remember Wally Matthews?
New York.
Newsday, New York. Yeah. He did a story about it and said, it was like one of the most one-sided contracts ever. But but think how many guys go in there and sign it too.
Right.
So
yeah,
but
right.
He got me pumped up though. White boy can fight.
That's the whole thing about that I tell him I'm involved with him, and nobody's gonna care about you more than your family member.
Yeah, and you, I mean, you've seen.
I want the best for him.
Yeah, but you've seen every part of it.
So much. I've been through promoters, managers, trainers.
It's funny because I'm just sorry, I'm really animated about this, but so we know so much about it. I mean, obviously lawyers know the legality and stuff, but a lot of them don't know how crooked boxing can be or is or whatever, because it happened to me.
Yeah.
When I fought Tyson, my manager, who knows the ins and outs of boxing, he had told this lawyer up in New York. He said, "Listen, because I was a resident of New York, but I wanted to be paid in dollars, not in pounds, And they said, "No problem. We got it all worked out." Sure enough, I get paid in pounds, and it was just it was just amazing. I mean, I hired this lawyer, and they knew it, but they don't realize how crooked boxing is sometimes, and how.
It's a business.
Yeah,
it's a business.
Yeah,
I mean, it's part of the game, and you gotta.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen. I mean,
the right people to protect you and help you and.
See if you agree. One of the things that's really changed boxing that had actually worked in my contract was the Muhammad Ali Bill Act, and they had where they said you could only put, because it used to be you could do options, but there was no time limit. Like King, he signed a couple of guys. He signed.
Life.
Remember? Yeah, no, seriously, he's not kidding. What's his name? He had. Remember a good fighter?
What's his name?
African American dude, good fighter, Larry Donald.
Larry Donald,
did nothing with him.
Olympic roommate.
Yeah, he did nothing with him. He just put him on the shelf and didn't do anything with him.
Larry Donald,
basically, his career was over. And he did that with a lot of guys.
the legend Donald.
Yeah, he could fight. He had a chin too.
Yes.
Remember he had a fight with Bo before the fight.
Yes.
Bo,
and
Bo hit him.
The press
oh my God, what a punch!
Larry Donald. Yeah.
And Bo can punch, man, with no gloves too.
He did. He's a heavyweight. I mean, come on.
Bo beat me to go to he beat me in the Olympic trials, the semis of the Olympic trials. That guy should have been the greatest heavyweight ever. I mean, here's another guy. He was just kind of, Bo was crazy, but he could just fight the best big man in fight I've ever seen. But he just wouldn't train. I mean, same thing with him. I mean, some fights he'd be so overweight.
He thought he had all the skills, but he just wasn't disciplined, man. He thought he could get away with it, but as time went, then he realized that I gotta get in shape, man. I can't get away with just not training.
I saw him recently. I'm going to actually, on a sidebar, I'm going to be going up to New York June 4th. We're trying to raise some money for Iran Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's having some issues. Yeah, what a fighter he was, man. I don't know if you remember that name, Iran Barkley?
Yeah.
He was a beast. He trained down here with us.
When he got knocked out by Duran. Duran beat him.
No, not knockout.
No, Duran won the title later in his.
But it wasn't the decision?
No, we got whacked. Iron Barkley knocked him out. Duran knocked him out.
Duran. I don't remember. I didn't think with the disc.
Yes.
Did they fight twice or once?
That I don't know.
Because you remember there was some bad blood because Barkley knocked out his best friend Davey Moore. Remember Davey Moore, the fighter Davey Moore?
Yes.
That was Barkley's best friend who got killed in a car accident.
Davey Moore. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You're right about that, man.
Yeah.
Good memory. I guess you got a better memory than.
I don't forget nothing, Joe. Kidding me? How's everything? Are you staying in shape or what?
I'm trying to. I kind of let myself go a little bit, but I still, I still have that muscle memory, that muscle mass. I got the potential.
Okay.
So I have the potential.
I got
Give
potential
me some time.
too.
I got the potential.
You look good. You look good.
Yeah,
Black is slimming.
Yeah.
So what do we got here? We got a sponsor.
Yeah, this is our partner. You want to talk about it, Gio?
Unify Energy Solutions. They're a company and also a friend of my dad's, and they support our vision, our dreams, and they wanted to support. So
that's great, man.
Yeah, and we really appreciate their support. It was very nice of them.
That's pretty good, buddy. I didn't get sponsors till late in the game.
Yeah.
He's a lucky kid, man.
Kidding,
lucky
man.
kid.
So just keep training hard, doing what you do, man. That's it. I mean, so what are we looking at next? Anything signed up?
Well, right now we're honestly, he's back in the gym. Of course, just keeping in shape. That's the best thing. He took off like about a week and a half. He's back in the gym. He's gonna try to stay fit. We're looking hopefully for a date in June. It's not set in stone yet, but that's what we're trying to do right now.
Yeah, I mean, we keep saying and beating it to death, but that's the best luxury you can do for yourself is just stay in shape. Like, I never understood
It's a job, man.
But guys would get so overweight after the fight. I always stay within 10 pounds of my weight.
Right.
Then later on in my career, I started trying to put weight on so I'd keep residual muscle mass. I'd lift a lot. I used to be with Tim Hallmark.
Oh, Tim Hallmark,
Tim was
with
great,
Evander Holyfield.
Yeah, but Hallmark.
I think he's working with Evan Holyfield too. Tim Hallmark.
Is he really?
Yeah.
It could be.
Part
It could
team,
be.
yeah.
I didn't know that. I loved him. He's one of the nicest guys.
Good guy. Really good guy. I worked with him before in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, I went and saw him. He was living up in up by Austin. I can't think of the name of the town, but it was really, really nice. He had a big ranch up there. And
oh wow.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Yes.
He was a good fighter. And then when Holyfield fought, he fought somebody. They had Mackie Showstone too. Was another. Remember Mackie Showstone?
I remember the name.
He was sports specificity. I can't say it. But
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. They have a lot of these strength and conditioning.
From Louisiana. Where was he?
Yeah, he was.
Yes, I know who he is. Yeah.
Good memory, man.
Right.
Good, buddy.
Hey.
Lou, name's Lou.
Lou
Savarese.
Oh, okay.
Italian.
I thought it was Lou Ferrigno.
Now, you got like an Italian name, Giovanni.
Oh yeah, dude.
I like that, man.
It is.
You always wanted to be Italian.
Italiano. It's like Mexicans. Come on, we come from the same culture. Mexicans,
Yeah.
Italians.
Oh yeah, sure.
Same, we eat a lot. We like that bond, that unity, family.
Yeah.
Italians are like Mexicans. Mexicans are like Italians. Come on.
We do eat a lot. That's true. We like family. I think you're right. That's it. Yeah. But you guys work a little bit harder. We're a little bit. We're always trying to look for some shortcuts.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but some of them.
Yeah, do.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming and everything, but I really appreciate this. Once again, a labor of love. I've been a big fan of this guy for a while. Got a good guy in your corner.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us. And
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Lou, again for having us on, and make sure everybody here follows the Marquez TMT.
Yeah.
It's not the money team.
All right.
It's the Marquez team. Because we don't have the money yet. But we're going to make the money. All right?
Yeah,
the money team, Floyd Mayweather.
You have one.
Yeah, we're the Marquez team. Follow our journey, and we're going to work hard, and hopefully my son will become a world champion one day.
I'm excited, man.
Yes, sir.
I want to be part of the entourage.
Yeah.
All right, kid. Thank you, guys.
Gracias.
My name is Giovanni Marquez. I'm 21 years old, based out of Houston, Texas. I'm an up-and-coming professional boxer. I started boxing at the age of 12. I come from a fighting family. My father is Raul Marquez, 1992 Olympian, IBF world champion, Showtime broadcaster. Having my father, being a professional fighter and my brothers fighting also inspired me to, step in the ring and try the sport out. I had my first fight at the age of 12. Ever since, I fell in love with the sport and haven't looked back. I'm a 2021 National Golden Gloves champion. I recently made my professional debut on a large platform, Showtime Showbox. I won a 4-round decision against a game Nelson Morales, 2-0, who was 2-0 at the time, but now obviously 2-1 because I came out successful. In this sport, I want to be a world champion, but not only do I want to be a world champion, I want to continue the legacy for Familia Marquez. And, I also want to inspire people throughout this journey. Anything you want to do in life, you can do if you set your mind to it and work hard.
All right, family. Thank you so much for being here and tuning in. We can watch the show tonight, 7 p.m. And thank you for my great guest, and stay tuned.
I need an answer, yes or no. See so many